High school actually doesn't teach you a ton of things that are almost essential in life. You may be even scratching your head going, why in the world do high schools even exist if they don't even teach you the necessities of financial literacy and becoming a financial independent adult? In today's video, we'll be going over some of the things that high schools don't teach that are quite honestly very, very important, not just as an entrepreneur myself, that is someone that is interested in personal finance and investing, but the general public needs to know about this. And the reason why high schools don't teach this is simply because the government doesn't want the public to know, because otherwise they would have allowed it by now, because it's quite an important topic to talk about. Now, before we jump into some of the things that high schools don't teach that they definitely should, make sure you hit the like button. It massively helps up with the YouTube algorithm and my journey to hit 50,000 subscribers this year. It will really help out with this channel. And also make sure you get your 2 free stocks down below. When you deposit $100 with Webull, these stocks are valued up to $1,850. So essentially you're getting free money just by depositing $100 with Webull, being a stock trading app. And of course you can withdraw it afterwards or sell off the stocks and buy something else. Now that is it. If you want to get Webull, make sure you check out the link down in the description below. Now we'll jump right into this right now. So the first thing that high schools don't teach that are almost super important, because everyone does this thing, and this thing is called taxes. And when I hear the word taxes, I just go, oh, not that again. I really hate taxes, because quite literally taxes, you have a set income per year, and then you can usually take a fourth or a half out depending on the income bracket you're in, and that goes to Uncle Sam and helping the government pay for other people's needs and on just the basics foundations for America. Taxes are something not only that the general public does lack a lot of knowledge on, but people should be taught taxes, not only if they were going to be an accountant anyways, because of course there are accounting classes in high school that I actually took as a junior, which was last year. They taught you the numbers, how to write in the spreadsheet, calculating the assets from the liabilities and all that stuff. That is basic math at its finest, because simply accounting is just setting up these numbers, setting each money that's coming in, the revenue and expenses, in their certain categories, so you can set them apart from each other, and then have like a net profit, and then using that to file your taxes. However, what they don't teach is the income brackets. Now, the income bracket is just one part of taxes. Of course, income brackets always change depending on the current state of the economy. Because Donald Trump did have a lower income bracket than what we're going into with Joe Biden's tax plan, they should still notify people, at least the general public, of the tax plan and the amount of taxes that you're going to be taken away every single year, essentially. Now, also taxes, another part of taxes that they should also cover is company taxes. If someone wants to start out a company, they should know different tax formations, like for example a sole proprietor, a LLC, and a C corp are just some of the things they should teach. Like anyone can start a company really easy as a sole proprietor, essentially just getting an EIN number from the irs.gov website, and there you go, you have basically a company, and then you can go ahead and register that with your state. Of course, this is not CPA advice. This is what I just did in the past to essentially set up a business for free, but I highly suggest you set up an LLC so you get some sort of protection against yourself. So essentially taxes are something they definitely should teach in school, because it's essential and everyone should know about this, because everyone will be doing this anyways. Now, the next thing we'll be going to talk about is credit cards. Now, sure, the majority of people, when they hear of credit card, they think of debt, bad debt that will just eventually ruin you and eventually cause you, if you don't treat it, to go into bankruptcy, and even worse, even commit suicide in some cases. So essentially, the majority of people, I agree, should use debit cards because of how bad they are with credit cards. And just when people get, the majority of people, when they get a credit card, they treat it as a disposable amount of money they can just use randomly. They don't think about they have to pay at the end of the month, or when the billing cycle is due. They just think, oh, it's a card and I have this X amount of money of credit line per month, I can just charge it, I'll pay it off later. And they usually just forget it and end up in credit card debt. And credit card debt, I can tell you, is definitely something that you do not want to be going into. So what the school should teach is how to utilize credit cards correctly and paying it off, and having that mindset of always paying off the credit cards, because bad debt snowball, it can eventually ruin you and cause you to go into bankruptcy. And that is something that nobody wants to go, because it is very, very scary, and it's something that we shouldn't really have to think about if we treat credit cards as a tool, not just as a leverage to earn points or some sort of cash back, instead of using this as a piece of tool that has this set amount of money they can charge automatically per month. So credit cards is just one thing. Another thing that schools should definitely teach, especially high school, as people are usually turning 18 in high school, their senior year, they should definitely know the knowledge and of some credit cards and debit cards they should look into. But instead, schools don't teach that, so they had to turn to my channel and these personal finance channels to learn more about credit cards and debit cards as well, if you do want to go down that route. Now, the third thing that high school doesn't teach you is houses. Now, more in particular, how to buy a house. More about that is loans, how you can get a loan, and credit scores. So credit cards and houses go directly against each other. Essentially, you need a credit card to build up that credit score. That credit score is then used to leverage against buying a house at a good interest rate. And not only just buying a house, having a good credit score is almost essential, especially just anywhere in life where you need a loan. It could be a house, it could be a car. However, I suggest only borrowing money for a house. Most people borrow money anyways for a house. So buying a house is completely fine, but I highly suggest you don't go into car payments. That's just another thing that you have to worry about. So if you're gonna pay a loan for something, the only thing that should be on there is a house. It shouldn't be some fancy motorcycle, some fancy motorbike, or something that you just randomly charge on your credit card just to get it because you want it now. You couldn't wait to save up that certain amount of money. And speaking of saving money, that leads us to the last step of what high school doesn't teach you. High school doesn't teach you about saving money, investing money, and especially budgeting money, of where the money splits off every single month. Your monthly paycheck goes into different categories. Saving is one thing. Most people should be able to save, probably, for the most part, but the amount they save is another thing that they struggle with, because I've seen plenty of people making 75,000, 60, 75,000, 80,000, only putting $100 a month into their bank account. Now, of course, having a bank account just there as an emergency fund is fine. but they usually don't even have any emergency fund and just are contributing $100 to the bank account. And that's absolutely not the right way to go about setting money aside for emergencies. You should always set 3 to 6 months ahead so you can have a backup in case of emergency, and using that part that you save to invest in yourself and in long-term growth stocks and ETFs and mutual funds as well. And also budgeting. A lot of people, when they hear budgeting, they procrastinate and think, oh, budgeting is just going to take so much work because of all the time it wastes, because you have to set this money aside to here to there. But if they teach it in school, nobody would have this problem, because simply budgeting is not hard. They just need to teach it at a young age so people become disciplined. And the reason schools don't teach this is because the government doesn't want you to know, and doesn't want the majority of the public to save and invest. Because if I'm being completely honest, if everyone started saving and investing, the whole economy would go down. Because if nobody would be willing to spend, people are saving their money, investing in the stock market, companies, the revenue is going to drop and the whole economy is just going to go down. So essentially, sure, some people, like me and you watching this video, or me creating this video and you're watching this, know about personal finance, it's fine. But if a ton of people, like the mass publics and especially public schools, learn this personal finance thing, then essentially the whole economy will collapse, basically, is what I assume would happen if everyone knew about personal finance. And of course, not everyone would take the advice, but for the majority of people that do, they're gonna end up prospering in the long run. So that wraps it up for this video of what high school doesn't teach you and what they really should. Taxes, how to use credit cards, and how to buy a house, and also budgeting as well. These are all just some things that high school doesn't teach you that are almost essential in life, because you're going to do it, you're going to use any of these for sometime in your lifetime, more than once at least. So that wraps up for this video. If you found some value in this video, make sure you smash the like button, hit the subscribe button, and turn on the notification bell so you get notified when I upload my next video. And I'll see you in the next one. Take care.